Predicted Manchester United lineup versus Coventry City. McTominay returns. Manchester United take on Coventry City in today's FA Cup semi-final at the Wembley Stadium. The Red Devils have been poor since the international break with 4 winless games, but they should be favourites to beat the championship outfit. Ahead of the clash, manager Erik ten Hag could be forced to make at least one change. Willy Cambola is injured alongside Mason Mount and Casemiro. Andre Onana has been almost an undisputed starter in goal for United this season. The Cameroon international has improved his shot stopping over the past few months. He is expected to start ahead of Altay Bayındır once more. In front of him, Diogo Dalot and Aaron Wan-Bissaka are likely to keep their places at right and left back respectively. Harry Maguire has recovered from a thigh injury for the game, but United have suffered another setback with Cambola absent. Instead of fielding another academy centre-back, Ten Hag could go with the experience of Casemiro alongside Maguire. This would mean Kobbie Mainoo dropping into the holding midfield position where he was brilliant earlier this year. Scott McTominay could be introduced in central midfield alongside Bruno Fernandes after overcoming a knee problem. The €32 million rated star could play in a more advanced role than the Red Devils captain. Mason Mount and Sofiane Amrabat look set to miss the Wembley showdown with fresh injuries. Further forward, it could be the same attacking trio from the Bournemouth draw. Antony has looked in good form lately with impressive displays against Liverpool and Chelsea. An injury kept him out of the South Coast trip last weekend. He may have to settle for a bench role. Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho should continue on the left and right wing respectively. Rasmus Hojlund has not scored since his return from a muscle injury, but the Dane remains United's best striking option. Anthony Martial has yet to recover from a groin surgery in January. Today's starting 11 is expected to be like this. So what is your opinion about this? Do you like the first 11? Manchester United have serious interest in signing Leipzig star Dani Olmo. Manchester United are one of the clubs in the race to sign RB Leipzig attacker Dani Olmo, according to Mundo Deportivo. The Red Devils are likely to make multiple signings this summer, and a versatile forward could be one of the top priorities for manager Erik ten Hag. Olmo has been linked with United for the past few years, and Mundo Deportivo claim that they could enter a bidding battle for his services. Barcelona and Bayern Munich are currently keeping tabs on the 25-year-old. But it is reported that United have also shown serious interest in him. Olmo has yet to be convinced over a new contract at Leipzig, and he could be signed for the reported €60 million when the transfer window reopens. United should avoid Olmo due to injury record. The Spain international is one of the best playmakers in the German top flight. He has the ability to play on the left wing, right wing, or from the number 10 role. Olmo can also operate from the false number 9 position when required. His versatility would make him a quality acquisition for any club, but we are not convinced. The attacker has registered 8 goals and 5 assists this season, but he has made only 23 appearances. He has missed 27 games with 2 short-term injuries. Olmo was also sidelined for 20 games last season, and the same was the case in 2021-22. In our view, United should stay clear of him due to his poor injury record. The Red Devils have had plenty of injuries to key players this term, and they can't afford another high-profile signing who has struggled with his fitness for some time. Ten Hag ready to end United tenure prematurely, unless Ratcliffe can provide one thing. Erik ten Hag may opt to cut ties with Manchester United before they have the chance to do so with him. Upon the culmination of the 2022-2023 campaign, where United were fresh off the back of ending a 6-year trophy drought, finishing 3rd and reaching the FA Cup final, it looked as though the Dutchman's position in the dugout was resoundingly safe. However, this season's tumultuous affairs have Ten Hag now on dangerously thin ice, with speculation over his future growing each week as we approach the end of his sophomore campaign. From the moment Sir Jim Ratcliffe's minority stake in the club was finally ratified, the question on everyone's lips was whether the new co-owner would choose to continue with Ten Hag at the reins long-term as he looks to embark on a new era at Old Trafford and restore the club to its former glories. Therefore, reports have suggested that Ten Hag is currently on borrowed time, and that the side's results have formed a somewhat of an audition for Ratcliffe to determine whether he's the man suitable for the mammoth task at hand. The former Ajax coach is well aware of the rumours surrounding his future, and as per the Mirror, he is considering leaving United prematurely unless he is given assurances over his position by Ineos and co. Christian Eriksen insists players will not hide after disastrous season. Erik ten Hag's second season at the club has been quite the come down from the excitement and optimism that came with his maiden campaign at Old Trafford. In his first season, Ten Hag seemed to have repaired what was a broken side to guide them back into the Champions League, as well as end the club's 6-year wait for silverware. Optimism was high going into his second term, but on the pitch, United have endured one of their most difficult campaigns in modern history. With roughly a month to go of the season, the Reds are adrift of the Champions League places, and there is a new public feud every other week. Injuries have ravaged the season and the players. Ten Hag relied on most last year have regressed substantially, leading to question marks over their futures. Christian Eriksen, a key player last year, has been restricted to a bit part player, and the Danish international has spoken out ahead of this weekend's FA Cup semi-final against Coventry City. The former Tottenham Hotspur star commented on the poor season, insisting the players will not hide and will do everything to salvage whatever they can, starting with the FA Cup. Victory over the Championship side would see United make it into the FA Cup final for the second year running, but Ten Hag will be desperate for a different outcome. The Reds fell to their cross-city rivals in last year's finale, and there could be a repeat of that finale depending on how the other semi-finale between Chelsea and Manchester City plays out. Ten Hag admits he doesn't put any energy into criticism of his management. Erik ten Hag may be managing Manchester United on borrowed time after what can only be described as a turbulent campaign thus far. There's no doubt that the Dutchman had credit in the bank following his maiden term in Manchester after he ended a 6-year trophy drought, reached the FA Cup final and secured a third-place finish. However, when the Reds were out of the Champions League, out of the Carabao Cup and playing catch-up in the top 4 race by Christmas in 2023-2024, it became evident that Ten Hag's future was hanging in the balance. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's purchase also opened up the possibility that the new co-owner would prefer to find his own man to take the reins at Old Trafford. And he has made it clear from the outset that he wants to restore it to its former glory. To restore it to its former glory as soon as possible. Unless Ten Hag is able to go all the way in this season's FA Cup campaign, in which they could face Manchester City in the final for a second consecutive year, you'd expect that speculation will continue to be rife until the summer. Manchester United fans are hoping to see Rasmus Hojlund reignite his prolific goal-scoring form again before the end of the season. The Danish international made history in February when he became the youngest ever player to score in 6 consecutive Premier League matches, having netted 6 times while achieving the impressive feat. It took Hojlund 15 matches before he was able to open his account in the top flight, so when the goals began flowing in, it seemed as though the floodgates had opened and he had finally found his feet. However, the run came to an abrupt end when he sustained a muscle injury and was sidelined for 3 matches, missing fixtures against Fulham, Manchester City and Everton before returning to face Brentford. Hojlund, who earns a reported $85,000 per week, has been unable to find the back of the net in the past 4 league outings, despite starting from the offset in each and playing 3 full 90s. Of course, it's important to remember that the forward is still only 21 years old. Long-term injuries to Anthony Martial means he is the sole number 9 available to lead the line each week, and it's not as if the rest of the squad are covering themselves in glory either.